Hey, everybody. We is back for another episode of the Savage Patriots.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Indeed.
For those of you who are unsure of why I'm sounding the way I'm sounding, I'm still getting over a little bit of a issue. Cold or something. So if I sound a little more divine than normal, that's why. It is not intentional.
More James Earl Jones-ish.
That's right. Simba, everything the light touches belongs to us. Never go over there. Where's that
Luke.
lib card bill?
No, Luke, I'm your father.
I am your father.
That's right.
And apparently, Mr. Padilla thought he was Luke Skywalker,
Oh,
and he got introduced to Darth Vader. Put him square on his chest and tell him, "We are your father." The performatism never stops with these people, and it had to be an Hispanic guy that they had to pick to do what they did. That is the biggest problem, is that we don't seem to see through the crap. A lot of us do, but there are still some that don't see through it. But we'll show you the video, and it is it's interesting. It's hilarious to say the least, but at the same time very interesting. So we're gonna show it to you, and y'all can tell me if this seems like a logical way to get your questions answered as a senator. Hear me out. As a senator, this is a press conference. Go ahead.
action.
An action. So this is a press conference that was happened by Kristi Noem, and as you can see, he decides that he was just going to bust through everybody and go to the front to have a question answered. I'm not sure how that, because I've thought that you could just raise your hand from the back and say you have a question. I mean, there are people seated there, so I'm not quite sure why he thought he could do that. But
Well, that's just it, though. He's got Latinx privilege.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, and politician privilege too.
I think you mean Latina X privileges. Okay, here a little bit. Oh, anyway, here we go. Y'all can watch it for yourself. This is performative activism part 1.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Hands off.
But
I'm Senator.
Hands off.
Look, okay.
oh my God.
The reason why I enjoy that clip so much is because for the longest time now, we thought that politicians were untouchable, and then this happens. And when we say, politicians also need to be handled properly, and that you know, we're all about equal principles, they don't get to do that. And so when the politician faces that kind of justice, look, I'm all for it.
Yeah, same here.
A little bit of a different and longer angle for you guys, because it's always fun to watch it twice.
Guys ready? And balancing. Sir, hands up. Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Wait for it.
All right, here's where you're going to go to the ground. Here's where you're going to go to the ground.
On your back.
If you don't my hands, do it.
Oh,
Put me on the back.
Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
Oh my God. And the Academy Award goes to
Recording allowed out here per guy, right? For what, I'm sorry?
Senator Alex Padilla.
Everyone,
That's my boss.
This is
There's
it.
no recording allowed out here. You can record. There's no recording allowed.
no recording. You can't be recording. No recording.
He went down with a quickness once that black guy got involved.
Yeah.
Let me just say that right now.
This is what you know what it reminds me of. I'll show you what it reminds me of, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. This is exactly what it reminds me of.
You know, why does people like him, Padilla, Maxine Waters, all these old hag senators have to announce that they're a senator. I'm Senator such and such, and I demand, like, their title gives them some type of privilege. You notice how he just threw that title out? You know, the minute he got up there and they started grabbing him, I'm Senator such and such. But we don't care. We don't care.
It's funny to me. It's very funny to me. It's just for me, I'm looking at it, and I don't understand why you would have to do that to get your certain questions answered when you have access to that person 24/7. Like, you know what you can do? Here's what you can do. You have questions, you can go down to her office. You can arrange for her to come before the Senate. You can tell her you need this information, send it over to my office now. You have avenues that the regular press and people do not have. Yet and still, you decide to act like a little beta and go in the middle of things to do what? Perform?
Yep.
And act like you're getting pushed away. And man, stop. Just stop, bro. It's not a good look on you. And of course, there'll be tons of people. Is this where we are? As I said, people get, if you can do it to a senator, you'll do it to anybody. I hope so. I hope if we can do it to a senator, we can do it to anybody. Because anybody that acts so foolish needs to get it.
Agreed.
Anybody. That movie was Monty Python and the Holy Grail, in case anybody was wondering.
He was just a Maryland father, Marlon, who wanted to speak to the secretary. You know, had to help him out. But it's all, everything on the left is performative. I mean, if you look at social media right now, the left is using that sound bite with the tears, and they're putting on, you know, lights, camera, action face, and they got these eye drops in their eyes showing fake tears while they're listening to this sound with this face of why, you know, it's all performative, man, and we're seeing right through it, just like we saw right through this. It doesn't work anymore.
You know what the funny thing is about that whole fiasco that the left is pulling with that crying girl movie clip audio?
Yeah.
It's from a movie from 2023 called Alma.
Yeah, performative, man. Doesn't work.
So I think this bigger question is, who is Senator Alex Padilla?
I don't know.
There's another performative person that we need to take a look at too.
He's the Hispanic pick-me for them.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't know who he is.
Ma'am, the lobby is secure right now to all visitors. Excuse me, I need to get in. Contact our public apparel. I need to get in.
Oh, man. That's how they need to be treated.
Yes, exactly.
That's how they need to be treated. You know, people got to stop putting these congressmen and these senators all on this pedestal like they're the royalty and we're just a bunch of peasants. You treat them just like you would treat any other citizen.
Well, not
exactly
just that.
Like that.
Not just that. We hired them.
Yeah.
That felt so good to watch, especially her face after she got turned away. Like really, it was pure gold because it was absolutely insulted, like absolutely insulted. And it felt so good because, okay,
how dare you?
There are again, you are not some fly-by-night reporter. You have sway over these offices, including the people that are in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is submit a request to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can simply call and say, I am going to talk to you this date, make it happen. That much power you have over them. But you don't use it. Instead, you go and carry cameras and make people. And this is how I know you're lying about really wanting to talk. You knew you were not going to just get access like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you took the cameras there so you can do exactly that, to look as though, an elderly woman too, and she's black. Oh my gosh, they definitely don't want a black woman being strong to stand up against the system. No. There's procedures, and anybody else would have gotten denied too. So I don't know what your problem is. Like, anyway, the thing we're kind of tackling here today is this: is this a sign that we finally have a government that is going to stand up to a bureaucracy, or is it a sign that we are becoming a tyrannical government? I know that the statement is that we are becoming tyrannical because, he doesn't want anybody to know what's going on. But when he did tell you what was going on, he wanted to shut down the government entity that was telling you what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So either you want transparency or you don't. When we were telling you what was happening, that's not happening. Now all of a sudden it is happening. Okay, which is it? Is there a danger at our border? Because you said there wasn't one. And if there's no danger at our borders, then we're not doing anything, right? We're just, every day is going on as normal. But if now you're saying that there is and you want answers, we were trying to give you answers. You didn't want the answers because it wasn't existing. So I just wish you'd pick problem or no problem. Which is it? Can any of you tell me which is it? Do we have a problem or do we not have a problem?
It's only a problem if they're handling it. So if the Democrats are in charge of the problem, it's a problem. When someone else is handling what we consider a problem, then it's not a problem with them.
Well, it goes so far as to, when you are complaining about bloated administrative, branches of whatever, the VA or the executive branch or whatever, a bloated administrative bureaucracy, and then when it comes to change it, you're worried about their pensions and you're worried about their employment status. It's like, make up your minds, you morons.
Yeah. I don't think they can, though. That's the problem. I don't think they know how to make up their mind, because their mind, to make it up, they would have to decide one of two things. Either what they've been saying is a lie, or what we've been saying is the truth. They can't decide on either one of them. They really have to have a tough battle to go up here, because for them to say it exists means that they would have to backtrack on what they've been saying beforehand. They're not about to do that. So they have to be performative and create a brand new thing. It's like, it's a distraction. When the dog does something, he decides to act cute. That's exactly what they're doing. For years, they told us the border is safe, the border is secure, the border is closed. Don't worry about it. Border. And then all of a sudden now, the crisis is in a massive state. And look what Trump is doing. Like, if he really cared, he'd have made this go through Congress. And this is a big problem. All of a sudden, it's a big problem. But you just said it was not an issue just 2 years ago. Y'all convinced us that there was no migrant influx. There was no border insecurity. Everything was fine. Not many people were here. Now all of a sudden, it's a problem that Trump is doing something because you think there should be something done about the immigration system. Like, Negro, what? Come on, man. Come on. I just wish they'd make up their minds about it. I just wish that we could figure this out as adults. And I know I'm asking a lot. I understand that. But as adults, where we can sit down and realize, okay, look, for the last 5 years, 4.5, we've had an incompetent individual in the White House that was purposefully doing what he did. The other issue is that when we look at this from the standpoint of did they or did they not cause this, the going theory has always been they didn't, and it wasn't in existence. Now all of a sudden, you can't make up your mind as to when it started, how it started, if it started. Like this, I'll show you what I mean by this. Let me get this up here. This was sent to me, ironically, today. And perfect timing, to say the least. Let me get this backed up all the way, and get the sound unmuted, and bring it up.
Something that my team found that will absolutely shock you. Ever since the election, Democrats have been trying to scare people into believing that Donald Trump and Elon Musk were coming for your Social Security, that they were coming for your Medicare, your Medicaid. They aren't. None of it was ever true, and now we have the proof. According to the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Elon Musk's team has just discovered that immigration officials under Joe Biden were doing something that's never been done before. They were giving illegal aliens work authorization papers just 5 months after they filed for asylum. The Biden Immigration Department would then mail each illegal alien a Social Security number, no questions asked, no interview, no background check, and presto, you've got yourself a brand new Democratic voter. That's how they were doing it. No administration has ever done anything like it before, but clearly, Democrats had a plan all along, a plan that the media deliberately never talked about, a plan that was considered the third rail, off limits to even mention in polite company. They were importing voters. We have an answer to that question now. And while they were doing that, they were telling you this.
Well, there certainly is not an open border.
The border is secure.
but we also have a broken immigration.
The border is closed. The border is secure.
I just made that really clear. It would be wrong to think that the border is open. It is not open.
They were importing Democratic voters.
Mm-hmm.
From the proverbial horse's mouths.
And that is how we end up with people like Padilla.
Yep.
Performative. He knew that, and this is what you have to distract people from what's really coming out. The more you can distract, the more you can behave like if a senator got arrested or even put on the ground. Oh my gosh, that's the new headline now. Everywhere you look, how could this happen? Wow, we are under tyrannical law. Look at, and all of a sudden now they're taking your eyes off of the fact that you are creating an absolute travesty in America, and to also distract that the courts have already overturned this the federal judge's ban on Trump putting the military in California. So now Trump can continue pulling people out. They want to distract you from that, realizing that he's winning this part. So they have to do something else. This was the next thing. Over here, look at what Trump did here. His people are arresting senators now. My goodness, what is going to happen with America? Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Fascism. You know, to their point about giving these illegal Social Security numbers. And remember, you know, how they were saying a bunch of dead people were voting. Do you think that they were giving these illegals the Social Security numbers of dead people in order for them to vote and get those Social Security benefits?
Yeah, I believe so.
Just say your name is JD Moore. That's this social. That's your name. Okay, that's my name. Yes, see, that's my name. JD. You know? And then they continue to get the benefits of this person that's already passed away. And then they just go and vote. They get a license. They get everything with that little card. They can say their name is anything. Marlon Brown. As long as they got that social to back it up.
This was happening when I was applying for my citizenship. I witnessed this firsthand, where people would come in and they were indeed illegal. They came in to have their hearing, and they would get their card. They would get their number long before mine. I waited 3 years to get just my green card.
Dang.
I went in and they got theirs the next week.
That's insane.
So I mean, you look, this has been going, and this was in Arkansas, mind you. This was not in some fringe outside East or West Coast. This was Red Belt. This was in Arkansas. So this was been happening a long time now, where the illegals were getting preferential treatment when they went in. So this particular performative act here is to cover stuff like that. Because if you can take their eyes off of what is actually going on, this is to make something else of something that's not happening, they win, and they can continue doing what they're doing. The problem is more people are not buying into this nonsense, and we're seeing right through it. You rewind to, like, say 8 years ago, they probably would have won with this idea.
Yeah,
this concept would have won, but not today.
And it all makes sense, you know, going back to the Doge findings with all those Social Security numbers of people that were at 100 and something years old. You know, those Social Security cards are just recycled, given to these illegals so they can place a vote for that party. And this is why so much money was going out to those numbers. And people are looking at it like, why is this person 170 years old receiving Social Security? Because these illegals are using these recycled Social Security numbers. Because everyone knows once that person passes away, that Social Security number just gets recycled back in the system.
And that's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. And it's been working like this for a while.
Yep.
The only question now is, can we do a procedure where we can stop this from happening in the future? And my theory is this: we can do something now, but the next administration, if it's not a if it's not Republican, they could easily undo it.
Yeah,
and that's the problem we have to look for. If this continues, and it goes to where we no longer have the ability to, like, say for instance they win this next round of immigrants coming in, and Trump really is stopped from the deportation process. This next round of elections can definitely be affected, because they'll have a upper hand on minimum on how things are divvied out in the House. That's the bigger, that they can easily sway the House and the Senate just by the amount of people that they have, not necessarily the voters, but by head count. And that could make things absolutely difficult, even if we do have a Republican president.
Right.
Now, with all these illegals that have these social security numbers that are most likely voting, wouldn't that change the numbers in their district, though? In these Democratic districts, once they do the census again, maybe they won't have a chance of winning the House or the Senate back based off how many people are removed in districts. You know what I mean? Because if they remove all these illegal voters from their district that shouldn't have been on the roster in the first place, they lose seats. Correct?
Well, I mean, that's what happened in California with their mass exodus. They lost, I think, a House seat.
So maybe we can bet on that. You know, once they start pushing all these people out, they'll have to do another census, and they're going to see, like, hey, you're not going to get as many seats as you did before, and they just start losing seats.
I would bank on that if I didn't know their ability to do shady stuff often. You know what I mean? Like if I knew that I could say to myself, okay, I trust that the Democrats would be amicable to deals. I could say that might be, but I can't trust them.
Yeah,
I can't trust them to say that would happen. They've already tried to do things that would easily make this a difficult situation for the next president. Something else hit me the other day. When you look at the different presidents that have been in, their method has always been one thing: violent reactions to things that happen. So like every Republican president that has come in, you hear of at least 1 to maybe 7 riotous kind of actions during their term. When the Democrat is in there, none of that happens. They end up with a smooth time when they do it, and they end up putting a lot of roadblocks, and we have just sat back and let it happen. And I think, as much as I want to believe that if we set certain parameters in place, we can get something going, I have to bank on the fact that they can always be violent about it and eventually do something really heinous. I mean, this year we saw 3 attempts on him, right? What if the next person that comes in, they're more successful with that attempt? You know what I mean? And it's especially if they have the head of the Senate. If they have the Senate, control of the Senate at the time, they can easily just get a Democrat president like they did with JFK. Get rid of the ones they want out and put the ones they want in. So I can see them doing a whole bunch of nefarious things. So I can't bank on it being, well, we set these parameters up and hope for the best. They're too conniving, man.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just me being too pessimistic, but I don't know.
The Democrats are diabolical. I can see them people with the rise of AI, creating fake AI profiles with social security numbers tagged to those profiles to count as their voter base in the census. That's how diabolical these people are, just for the numbers. And it'll be easy to do. Very easy to do. Imagine that.
Well, that's the problem. I think we can imagine it.
Yeah.
I think we can imagine that problem. And that is the biggest issue, is that we have now in front of us a dilemma. Do you think that our next step should be taking up their approach and dealing with them the same way they deal with us? I know we've said for a long time, don't be violent, because they're violent. But
I think eventually it is going to come down to that, and the right is, they're tired of sitting on the sidelines, man. We've been saying it for many years that we just sit back and let you guys do your thing. But at some point, you're going to poke that bear enough to where we're going to get tired of it. And when we punch back, it's not going to be like their punches. We're going to punch back a lot harder. I think, yeah.
I get it, but we've not done that yet. Like we say it, I get it, and we do sometimes say this is what we are going to do, but we have not done that. We've just always been sitting down and allowing them to trample all over us with no recourse. It's become a habit of ours to just kind of sit back. Like I know we've gotten more spine recently. But I think we can all admit this one thing, is that we have been pretty sissy.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We've been very passive, and we've just kind of let things happen to us. And I think it's about time we realize this is not your playground scenario. That this is people busting into your home and doing stuff to your home, and you just letting them do it, and you expect them to stop because you ask them to.
Right.
They're just gonna tell the next person, they're not gonna do you nothing. Just go ahead and kick their door, and they're not gonna care. They'll scream at you, but that's it.
And here's what I think. I think if something else, another attempt was to happen to Trump, another attempt on his life, and if they were successful, I think that would be the tipping point for a lot of people on the right. That it would boil over at that point. But for right now, they're like, hey, as long as our guy is taken care of and safe, the person they voted for, we're good. We can handle the little things here and there. But if something was to happen to him, I think a lot of people would lose it. Not because they worship the man, just because they understand that this man is probably the best man for the position in the state of the country right now. And they realize if something happens to him, we're going all the way back and it's going to get worse. So,
well, the problem though is that for us on the right, when we get our guy in, we kind of sort of shrink back into this passive, comfortable state and not necessarily recognize that we still have the midterms and the primaries and our local elections that we need to face. And so that part of that passivity is on us because we get politically lazy, and then we delve into this political complacency, and we can't be like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But now, can we guarantee that will happen?
Well, no.
Okay. And I think therein lies our problem. It's a big talk, a big ask. And the unfortunate reality is that our history is that we've been passive about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to Jay's point, I think if, using social media influencers, if they start focusing on those midterms and those smaller elections, I think you would see a little shift. But as we all know, they only talk about Trump, focus on Trump. It's Trump, 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 Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. And you're right. We forget about these midterms are coming up because we're not watching these people. So I think if a lot of these social media influencers, whether you're a podcaster, tic-tac-toe, and other platforms, when the midterms starts coming around that time, they need to start shifting their focus from the guy who's already in office to the ones that are trying to get reelected or going to run.
Right.
Well, we can hope. We can hope for sure. The point of the issue here is that we can't be passive anymore.
Yeah.
We simply can't. We're at an impasse right now, and there was something that was said. I heard somebody say that most dynasties last about 230 years.
Yeah.
And then they implode or they go away. And we're at that point. And we're we decide right now if we are going to be like the battle flag where we are being bombarded. And when they decide they've lost, we found that only 2 or 3 people are still holding up the flag and the ramparts win. Are we going to be where we just get completely annihilated because we've just vacated our post?
Right.
At this point, we don't really have an option. If we even want to have at least another 5-10 years with safety for our kids, to prep them for what's going to happen. The question remains whether or not this is even going to occur. Are we going to be able to do it? Are we able to stand our ground? Will we won't? I mean, it's aggravating that we've gotten to this point, but we do have a chance to at least go out swinging.
Yeah,
at minimum, go out swinging.
And there has to be a lot of changes, man. As we know, there has to be a lot of things gutted, because what we're shown, this illusion of freedom that we're told, this illusion isn't what was written. It's just so many different things, laws and taxes and, you name it. All this stuff is added on top of us, giving us the illusion of freedom. So if a dynasty has to change, what we're going through right now as a country, yes, we have freedom. We can talk, we can do whatever. But a lot of this stuff has to be gutted. And it has to go back to what the founders originally wanted. What we have now is not what the founders want. It's just an illusion. keeps us happy. Give us a little money. Hey, we have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of religion. But it's not. Is it really? Is it really? So I think the system that we have now, the illusion, needs to be torn apart, and we need to go back to the original document at every level of government.
The defense for what he did is already coming in, and we'll look at a video about it. Now, y'all remember the video that we saw, right? And I'm going to ask a question before we see it, what their reaction is. Did you see him putting his hands up, or did he try to barge his way through to get to the front?
Barge his way.
When did he get his hands up? When he was outside the room, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. Here we go.
Members of Congress have been quick to react to news from across the country that one of their own, California Senator Alex Padilla, was forcibly removed from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's press conference this afternoon. Democrats pointed the blame at the Trump administration, while Republicans called out the senator. And it all came as the House voted to cancel nearly $10 billion of foreign aid and public media funding. Our Lisa Desjardins has been following it all from Capitol Hill, and she joins me now. So, Lisa, let's start with Senator Padilla. Tell us about the reaction among lawmakers you've been talking to after that incident and his handling by federal officials there.
Now, as I speak to you now, these events didn't happen that long ago. The reaction on Capitol Hill was swift, especially from Democrats. They were outraged and concerned that what they saw and what happened to Senator Padilla is something that they think could grow. They saw a danger here, and they took their concerns across the Capitol, outside of the steps of the Capitol themselves. Now, on the steps of the Capitol, in this impromptu news conference that gathered more and more lawmakers as time went on, Democratic members said they want an investigation of what happened here. Then later on, another impromptu event, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, you see, marched across the Capitol to the office of Senate Republican leader and the leader of the Senate, John Thune. There they were inside meeting with Thune's staff. I was there for that meeting where one by one they expressed concerns, in fact, saying later on that they believe Senator Padilla was assaulted.
Anyone that's reasonable and sees the video will understand that Senator Padilla was not aggressive. He held his hands up.
Oh my God, they love that hands up, don't shoot, hands up. Oh my God.
You get what he identified himself, and all he wanted to do was make a statement or ask a question.
Isn't there a decorum and protocol?
Yes.
So who is this?
I don't know. But Jay, you saw what he was trying to do,
yes.
Right? He said with his hands up. Yeah, we see right through your
Marlon, you muted.
Shenanigans.
We'll watch it again. Don't worry. We'll watch his whole video again just to verify that this guy's telling the truth. Here we go.
And he got thrown into the ground.
He got thrown into the ground.
Into the ground. Like into the earth. Inside.
Now remember all he's describing. The whole time he had his hands up, he wasn't aggressive, and he got thrown into the ground. All right, cool.
Democrats say this behavior is something that they think could expand, that it shows that the Department of Homeland Security, in their opinion, is out of line with the law.
You need to eat more. I'm just going to give you some advice.
And her mouth is bugging me. Watch her mouth.
It doesn't talk right.
I asked who they think should be charged with an assault if they.
She had way too much salt to eat before the show. Something wrong.
Like she's trying to get an eyelash off her tongue.
Right? I don't know what's up with that.
She's doing her job, and Marlon just comes up and goes, "Listen, you need to eat more first.
Just eat more."
Call her juicy lips.
Come on, man. Like, how you gonna get on camera looking like you like in a concentration camp? Like, come on.
Oh,
she looks like she needs a cheeseburger IV.
Come on, man.
See an assault here. They didn't answer that directly, but they think that Noem herself and the agency are responsible here.
Oh, not him. Okay,
No.
cool. All right, let's double check something here. let's double, triple, quadruple, quintuple check and see if we see something here.
Okay.
Now remember, people. She say he said that Mr. Man was thrown into the floor.
No, he was not violent.
Not violent.
Not violent
at all. Okay.
Hands up, and then thrown into the floor.
Then thrown straight head first into the floor.
Inside,
upper lip and everything.
Into the floor. Remember, into
square,
not on top of, into the whole floor, like
whole
under
floor.
the cement. Yeah.
We're talking about like Elden Ring, video game style thing, body flopping. Here you go. Not aggressive. Thrown into the floor. Hands up.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for.
Not aggressive.
Pushback.
He's pushing forward.
Isn't that aggressive by going forward after people are telling him to back up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is his hands
now
up?
Marlon? Yeah. Now Marlon, if you would have did that, you would have been body slammed, DDT'd right there in front of everyone.
Somebody else did that, and that was Ashley Babbitt. But I digress.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
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 I mean, what happened to her? I mean, but that's secondary, right? Okay. Anyway, continue.
No, that's different.
Because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen felon criminals.
Not aggressive, right? No?
That's what they said.
Okay. He's not fighting back at all. His hands are up. He just wanted to ask a question or make a statement. Okay.
That you're rotating on your hands off.
Hands off. That sounds aggressive.
Yeah.
Now, if that was a police officer, those are police officers, correct?
Yes.
What would we have been charged with if we were pushing forward like that?
Resisting arrest. Yes.
Obstruction of justice.
That'd be a George Floyd situation right there.
I'm just saying.
Wait, I'm speaking of which, the movement that Michael just did. Where is Padilla's hands up?
It's coming. It's coming. Here, I think this is where it is. Right. Hold on. Right. Hold on. There. Okay. There it is.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh,
At the end.
Yeah, near the end of everything. It was like Frodo here. I'm happy to be with you, Mr. Frodo, here at the end of all things. He's just kind of, after they've thrown the ring into the fire and the eagles come and grab them and take them back to the Shire. This is the eagles grabbing Frodo right now.
And you know what's funny? After the first time, when we watched it the first time, the guy told the guy filming, he was like, "You can't film in here." While the whole time,
he's filming.
They have cameras. They're filming on the inside of the room, but out there you can't. There's no filming out here.
Let's see if he puts his. Let's see if he was thrown into the floor now. Okay, let's see.
I'm Senator Alex.
Oh, no, okay, it's the other one. Let's see if we can find a spot where you was thrown square head first into the floor. Okay, chucked head first, just thrown, body crumpled and everything, spine devoured into the floor. Here we go. Come on, into the floor. Let's go to the end here. Wait. No, wait. Okay, let's see if he gets thrown into the floor.
On the ground.
Yeah, I mean, right there.
Hands on your back.
If you let my hands go and put behind my back.
It looks like all they told him to do was kneel down, and he decided to lie down on the stomach. Thrown into the floor, though.
It looks like he kneeled down himself. He didn't really get his. He kind of just bent his knees and went to his knees, but threw himself on the floor.
Hey, thrown.
Yes.
Just
destroyed into the floor.
All right. Cool.
Now what?
Lay flat. Lay flat.
There you go. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
Other hand. Underhand.
All right, now get up, punk.
There's no recording allowed out here.
Look, you heard him?
I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here for FBI rights. For what, I'm sorry? There's no recording allowed out here. That's my boss. I have to. There's no recording allowed out here. You can record. There's no recording.
Now, listen. He said, that is my boss, right?
Yep.
Now, if you go back to the video, right around the time he got done, that guy planned it the whole time. Look, right about the time he go back.
There? there.
Yeah. All this was staged, man. He said, that's my boss, you know? So all of this plan, he was in a perfect position. He followed him out in the perfect position and filmed it all going down. It's a spectacle. It's drama. It's a TV show.
Look, I've seen better acting on Channel 3. Y'all remember Channel 3? Way back in the day, you know, before USA became USA. You know, you remember them channels? WBN, what's the other? WGN. There was another one that started with U. You remember them channels, right?
Univision?
No, it was another 3-letter U. Come on, people, y'all remember this thing?
What was that, local TV or?
Yeah, it was local TV, but they had them. That's when you would turn to watch Family Matters and all that stuff.
Oh,
and,
ABC.
Yeah, but it started with a U.
UPN.
UPN. That's what it is. UPN.
Yeah,
UPN. That was the acting. UPN, man. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember them things? That's exactly what the kind of acting you'd find on that. These daytime, shows, and there'd be these sitcoms would pop up when the nuts land and all this crap would pop in. Come on, that's exactly what this is.
Moesha was on UPN.
Yeah, it was. All of this stuff, man. That's when stuff like Ricky Lake.
Oh, that's right.
This is stuff you'd find there. That's it. Overacting, over the top. It takes me back to things like Manimal. Sledgehammer. Come on, people. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Over the top. Everything was over the top back in the 80s and the 90s. Over the top.
Do you think those officers that took him down were in on it?
No. I think they were trying their best not to do exactly what they accused him of doing. I think he really was fighting them. And if they really were to tackle him the way they would have normally tackled him, he'd have been underground forever ago.
Oh, for sure.
Like they would have tackled a citizen minding their
man,
business.
they would have just swept that. Look, they would have, the sweep they would have done.
Yeah.
They grabbed the shirt, sweep, bam, on your back. You're out. That's it. You'd have been done. You wouldn't be fighting at all at that point. You'd be like, it just got real. They treated you like a senator. You better be lucky that they treated you like a senator and not like a regular civilian.
Yeah, because there's not going to be any charges, because disturbing the peace, obstruction, resisting arrest. Normal person would have been at the jail right now waiting on the bond. But these guys, they can just pretty much do what they want. It was a spectacle. They showed that they put them in cuffs to make the people happy, but nothing's going to happen to them.
It's just insane to me. It really is. Like, I don't understand how we got here, but I do understand how we got here. We got here because we've allowed it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We allowed it.
Yeah.
And there isn't much you can do about it now because, we allowed it.
Oh, I know a way. Complete blackout. Shut it down.
That'd be a good thing. That'd be a good thing.
Complete EBS, activate it, shut it all down till we clean house and then turn it back on.
It's insane. In case y'all didn't hear, there's been a strike from Iran on Iran by Israel, and Iran has struck back in a civilian area. We might talk about that Monday, but I'll speak for me. I really don't give a rat's behind what they do to each other over there. I really don't care. If they want to implode and explode and destroy, have at it. Have a field day. And I do hope that President Trump stays out of it.
Yeah, that part.
But I do know that if at any point in time anybody decides to rock anything over here, I also hope that President Trump absolutely nukes the mess out of them. Like, for real. I'm not even joking about that. And you can call it a war crime if you want. But if you feel froggy enough, I hope he just not even send no troops. Don't even bother with on the ground, boots on the ground. Just blow them up. Just wow, gone. Aim straight for the Capitol, wherever all of them are, and just gone.
Pink miss.
Pink miss, just big parking lot. Yeah, glass.
Marlon, what is your prediction? And you too, Jay. What are your predictions for tomorrow? Like, what do you think is really going to happen? All this hype about this thing.
I'm of the impression that it's gonna be nothing burger because they weren't able to capitalize on time enough. We just all heard about this within the last week. So for them to try and mobilize all of this stuff, I'd be surprised if they get the turnout that they did. And it's going to be a nothing burger. I really think that's just going to stir. And another prediction I would have is if they do get the numbers, I think the pushback is going to be worse than they imagine.
Yeah.
I could about you, Marlon?
I could see that. But I also don't put nothing past the left to pay for enough stuff to have done.
Yeah.
And they can do a lot of damage with a few.
That's true.
I have my prediction, and I talked to Marlon about this backstage, and it goes all the way back to Biden pardoning that secret list of pardons that nobody knew. You know, I believe there are sleeper cells. We've mentioned that on this podcast before, possible sleeper cells in there. I believe that Israel is going to try to draw us into conflict with Iran. Tomorrow's a perfect opportunity to do it for some sleeper cell to set off some 9/11 style attack, to blame it on Iran to kind of draw us into this conflict. So I believe this whole thing is a lot more than what we think it is, and I think it would be a catalyst to try to get America involved in this war. That's me.
Yeah. A bunch of avenues this can go.
Mm-hmm.
It really hinges on President Trump staying true to the America First mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't get involved, even though it might be so-called allies. Don't care. That's on them. That's their issue. Because here's the real deal. They never come to our aid. Ever. The last time they even remotely came to anything close to our aid was World War II, and it wasn't even to our aid. They never come to help here. Yeah. They don't send funds. They don't send anything, nothing here.
That's right.
And they expect everything from us.
Yeah.
And it's about time we put our foot down and say, nah, fam, we done. We got our own problems. We need to keep our focus on our problems. Y'all deal with your crap on your own. I don't care what the UN says. I don't care what the EU says. Suck salt. Ain't nobody care about what's going on over there. Nuke each other to death. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make Gaza a parking lot for yourself? Do it. Hamas wants to make Israel a parking lot? Do it. Don't care. Y'all do whatever you want to over there. The instant you step here, though, it's over for you.
That's
ally
right.
or not. The instant you step foot and start being stupid here, we ending you.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, look, I had a way back in the day, an older head said, you can't make a house run with more money going out than coming in.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you got to balance. And we've been out of balance for way too long.
Right.
With resources, money, weaponry, defense, we leave ourselves completely open. We're like the simp boyfriend. That's what we are, the simp boyfriend that lets everything happen to us, and we just think, oh, she still loves us. It's okay. Just do what I want for her. And she just spits on you all the time and goes and sleeps with another man.
And you know, another way to kill that is stop talking about it. Our media keeps talking about it. No one wants to see Netanyahu getting on TV telling us what's going on over there. That's not our problem. Mm-hmm. The media needs to stop showing the American people that. Sorry, if you're a person that has ties to that country, find other ways to figure out what's going on. But the masses don't need to hear about what's going on over there. As Marlon stated, and Trump and everyone else, we have our own problems here. Those are the problems that we should be talking about. Stop talking about what bombing who and who's bombing here way over there across the water. We'll worry about it when it comes here. Until then, we don't even need to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things, man. Just one of those things we have to start focusing on the house. Otherwise, our future is not America anymore. It's something else. And we'll become exactly what they've been hoping for, absent.
Yep.
And we can't for our future of our kids' sake, and if we want them to have what we've had and more, this is our last stance. This is our custard moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is our Delaware. This is whatever you want to call it. This is our stance right here. And it comes in more ways than one. It comes in form of having a president that will indeed do the exact same thing. And I really hope that, Trump does that, finds whatever spine he had in 2016 and find that same dog that he had coming in where he didn't give a dang about nobody saying jack to him. And he would just flip right. I want you to go back to 2016. You're in your last term. Go back to 2016. Go like, I mean, all the way back to 16. You did what you had to do with Doge. You did what you had to do. Now go back to 16 and like everybody is asses on fire. Just go at it. Go out smoking.
Cut all communication with them. All of it. There's no need to even talk to them.
Yeah. There's no crossing the island at this point.
No.
If they consider you a dictator right now, don't care. Do what you got to do. You have to do it for this place because it's obvious now that they want a different kind of America that has nothing to do with America as we knew it. And not even a better one, a worse one. So we either stand up or we sit down. And at this point, it feels like we're kind of trying to get up, but we don't really know if we want to. We need to do something.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
It's like I'm getting up, a prairie dogging kind of thing. We squat or get up to John. Hop a squat or get up to John, man. So we'll see how it works. But if the war kicks off and we hear any words about it dropping here, we'll let you know. Outside of that, is there anything else kicking off?
I think we just keep a close eye on the weekend and see what comedic events follow after that.
Yeah. The riot's still going. Yeah.
And I will tell everybody again, don't assume that everything's going to be okay because there's military personnel on the ground. Always prepare yourself for things like this. Again, you don't know what else is happening behind the scenes of the protest. Yes, there's a protest, but what's happening behind that? We don't know. So you should always prepare yourself for the worst. And if nothing happens, at least you're prepared. But don't sit there and not have food, not have water, not have supplies for your family, and sit there boo-hooing because you didn't prepare. Always prepare yourself. Always.
Period. Point blank. Unequivocally. So as much as we know, we'll let you know. What we don't know, you ain't gonna know unless you know it more than us. And if you do, send it to this email down at the bottom, thesavagepatriots@gmail.com. If you have a topic you want us to try and cover, feel free to send it there too. We're going to try and set up a cash app for just the platform. That way we can get things like our podcast boosted on certain platforms to try and get us out there. That'd be great. So if it's something that you guys would be willing to help with, feel free, but we'll get it set up probably in the next month or so. It'll take a little bit. But once we get it, we'll let you guys know. Because we'll cover things like we did with our new intro and exclusive stuff for the platform itself.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like getting Mike a microphone that doesn't clip out.
And OnlyFans too.
And the OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
All we do is put fans on there, nothing more, just fans. We'll see how it goes. Too strong tonight, not sure. I haven't heard from Corey today. So, but I'll more than likely be talking to him right after this to see what we're going to do. But more likely, yes, we just don't know for what topic yet. So we'll see what happens otherwise. So, Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Monday. Peace.
Oh.